some NBA news all over the place involving some bold-faced names. Let's go with the one that our friend Windhorst popped first, because that's the latest one. What did Brian Windhorst throw out there, Christopher?
He was on ESPN Radio in Cleveland.
Yeah, he was.
And they were talking about, Giannis, and there's some trade speculation out there as the Bucks are, underperforming. They haven't been good with him out of the lineup. And recently this week, Giannis deleted off social media all Bucks-related content.
Which means bad things usually for the team that is employing said player who cleanses his or her social media of any sign of their employment.
Yeah, not a great sign. And the hosts there were just talking about him. And Windhorst just casually dropped that Giannis had asked for a trade out of Milwaukee before this season.
I think that's earned Brian Windhorst a call for me to say, here, can you do our show?
Fill us in.
Well, so they essentially rejected his request, or the Knicks didn't pull it off?
Well, that was the one spot that Giannis had wanted to kind of go to this offseason. But yeah, and now teams are circulating. I've heard people speculate on San Antonio. Could the Lakers pull something together? Giannis.
Come on.
The Golden State. So yeah, San Antonio. That is just. Whew.
I don't understand why would anybody mention San Antonio or Golden State or anybody but the Lakers? Aren't you supposed to only just call the Lakers and the Lakers only and make it only a deal with them and not throw it open to anybody?
I think that's part of the NBA bylaw.
I thought that's the way it's supposed to be for
It's like a contractual
generationally great players
for you to do that.
Yeah, that's just the way.
Yeah, it's got to wind up on the Lakers.
Although they did already pull off their once-in-a-generation talent move that they've done since, 1970-something.
So they've already picked the best player from Milwaukee in the past.
Why do people throwing out San Antonio? Just because they,
Well, they have a lot of the assets. They have,
see.
Not only would Milwaukee want picks, but you want like young players,
Sure.
and obviously they have Stephon Castle or Dylan Harper could be sent to Milwaukee along with the bevy of picks.
And so I guess if there's any sort of helium balloons that go up into the rafters, they could just put Giannis on Wemby's shoulders and then just pull it down, give it back to a child.
A front line of Wemby and Giannis.
Stop.
How does that even work? Why would they trade for Giannis?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Why would you? Why would you do that?
My worst take in the history of this show, don't trade for Giannis, is now a great take. Don't trade away Giannis. I'm sure that's what Doc is saying.
Yeah,
Right?
it hasn't been good this year in Milwaukee. They're 9-13, and Giannis has missed some time, 1-5 in the games without him.
You know what everybody's saying
But
these
the East
days
is still
too,
wide
man.
open, so I don't know why you're trying to
on.
give up hope there.
Hey, your Celtics are playing well. You know what I mean?
Looking at the odds yesterday, TJ, 15-1 to win the East. Big win over New York last night. Have been good in this recent stretch. Starting to come together, playing some small ball. Tatum comes back in April.
Guy
Who's better than the
there.
Celtics if Tatum is back at full strength? Especially with the way Jaylen Brown is playing right now.
And you sneak in the Miami Heat top way?
Suddenly we're the 8th, 8 seed.
Yeah.
You don't want to
play in.
Losing the play in.
But you know what everybody says. Look at the Pacers last year. Turn of the calendar last year. Who was talking about the Pacers being any threat?
I remember the Mavericks a couple years ago.
Right.
Boston the year before that. But
Right.
when they kind of the energy shifted. So.
Right.
Pacers trying to pull a Spurs right now, though.
And this is a loaded draft, so it's like you don't really want to be in it if you don't have a chance to compete for the championship with the way the talent is going to be, come next June. But look, obviously Oklahoma City is just blowing everybody away.
Yeah.
All the metrics are one of the greatest teams of all time. We're seeing something truly special there. So.
Okay.
And what I meant by pulling a Spurs is Halliburton's out. They went to the finals. Now they've got 4 wins. They're going to end up in the lottery. They're going to get a top player, and then Halliburton's going to come back. And
yeah, just like Tim Duncan back.
You mean whoever Michigan sends into the draft?
I mean,
it's on a basketball
Michigan's
season
got
over
some
here.
players.
got some players.
It's basketball season in my end of the world right now.
You just gave up on the football team?
Well, I mean, the season's over with the exception of what there'll be one bowl game I'll tune into. Sure.
By the way, projection, Citrus Bowl, Texas, Michigan.
Hey.
If neither make the
Okay.
playoff.
Citrus Bowl. They like the juice on that squeeze right there.
I saw that projection.
And then there's another story.
Yeah.
Your Los Angeles Clippers signed Chris Paul in his farewell season, going back to the future. playing for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Lob City.
And is this the worst retirement tour in the history of retirement tours? Because, you're supposed to get, like, presents when you go everywhere
stop.
you go.
Rocking chairs.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, just, Rivera, Jeter, Big Papi, they all got gifts.
Yep.
You're not supposed to get a knock on your hotel room door, apparently, around the middle of the night and say you're cut.
And yet?
I don't know. What is the circumstances in which the Clippers informed Chris Paul in the middle of this dreadful season for the LA Clippers that we're done? But Lawrence Frank confirming that they're not in business with Chris Paul anymore. And he Instagrammed out on his stories. I've just been informed.
Informed I've been let go. And apparently the flight that the Clippers were on last night was delayed in Atlanta, leaving. They were on the tarmac for a while.
So did they kiffin him?
No, but players were learning about the move while they were on the plane.
And I'm seeing all over reports that he and Tyronn Lue haven't been they haven't been on speaking terms.
Yeah, they haven't been speaking. He took him out of the rotation at the beginning of the season, put him back in, but apparently, per Shams, they felt that Paul was too vocal in holding management, coaches, and players accountable. So
they told him, get out, we're done? In the middle, I mean,
Chris Paul has always been known as kind of like
we've seen it.
a hardo, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So apparently, maybe with this new regime that's in there now, just didn't take kindly to his style of leadership, didn't mesh with Ty Lue. Like I said, they weren't speaking.
Well, you're the Clipper fan here. He's an all-time great. You're telling him in the middle of the night that we're done?
I mean, look, it's got to be something deeper than obviously we know, right? Like, but this team isn't going anywhere. This is a very frustrating season. And I'm looking forward to the end of the year because we'll get a high draft. Oh no, we won't, Chris. Have a high draft pick. We're not going to have a draft pick.
That's going to Oklahoma City.
5-16, man.
This guy's going to have his jersey retired. He'll be the first Clipper to have his number hanging in
Will he want it?
In the new arena.
Will
but that's
he
the
want
thing,
it?
and it's a farewell tour. It's a reason for diehard Clipper fans to come to games. I just don't understand.
Well, it's something, man. Remember, Blake Griffin signed that big deal. He wanted to retire a Clipper, then he got traded.
A few months
Detroit.
later, he's out.
Same thing with Chris Paul. I really don't know, man. Being a Clippers fan is, if I could go back to '99 and do it all over again, I don't know if I would have hopped on this.
Well, you would have stopped the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander trade.
Oh, absolutely. No one.
Like if you can go back in your DeLorean, that's where you'd stop, right?
I would stop there.
You'd say, "Listen,
with the Clippers,
listen
there's
to
a lot
Jerry
of
West.
things.
Listen to Jerry West,
right?"
But Kawhi said, "I need Paul George."
Paul George.
And at the time,
if I'm departing,
at the time it was great. You're thinking it's a great move, but I can still remember that night that the trade broke on ESPN, and I remember it because I was recording myself laughing on my couch. But then I saw what we gave up, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a lot of draft picks." And,
but Kawhi had just won in Toronto.
Yeah, but
Wasn't that on 4th of July?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you remember, like,
and there was an earthquake.
And there was an earthquake.
Like, you remember that was supposed to be. He was supposed to come back to Southern California where he's from and play with LeBron.
Right.
That's
he's supposed to go. Well, I mean, because that's the way it always goes.
But Kawhi wasn't having it.
No, I mean, that's what happens sometimes. One time the league will just say, "Nope, Chris, you can't play with the Lakers. You got to play with the Clippers," right? One time the Lakers didn't get the trade they wanted.
I was happy
That's weird.
with that.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.